Hi beautiful people, today we're going to make mac and cheese minus the mac and cheese. No mac, no cheese, vegan style. Alright, so I have my cashews soaking. They're soaking in hot water because the overnight thing, listen, you do the right thing and soak it overnight. I'm lazy, I'm just gonna soak it for like 45 minutes in some hot water. And while that is soaking, I'm going to create a vegetable broth. So I have some water in a pot right here, and I'm going to peel and just cut up rough cuts this carrot, put it in there. I'm gonna put some onion in there, and I'm gonna put a little bit of homemade green seasoning. My mom makes this, and listen, I don't know what I'll do without her. She makes the best homemade green seasoning. Anyway, typically you put potato in there as well. So you put 1 carrot, 1 potato, and some onion. I'm trying to stay away from Irish potato because it's not the healthiest potato. As most of you know, sweet potato is better. But I'm not sure if the consistency will be right with a sweet potato. I'll experiment some other time. But I'm staying away from Irish potato. However, you can add 1 Irish potato. All right, 1 Irish potato, 1 carrot, and probably like a quarter of this onion, and you can put some seasonings in there, and we're gonna make a vegetable broth.
Your food must be your medicine. So to my vegetable broth, I've added some garlic and some ginger.
While my vegetable broth is bubbling over there, I am going to prep my pasta, and this is going to be my pasta, squash. So I'm going to cut it right here and just use these long strips. I'm going to peel this, and then I'm going to use this handheld shredder. You can see the way it's set up, it's going to create strips, like thin strips. If you don't have one of these, but you have one of these, then you can create 1 long strip, and then you use a knife to create the small pasta looking strips. Okay, if you have a spiralizer, that would even be better. A spiralizer is a machine that creates like curly pasta out of vegetables. Okay, I'm actually about to get one, it's in the mail. But in the meantime, I really like how these come out because they're straight, whereas the spiralizer will create curly pasta, but I like the straight pasta. So even when I get my spiralizer, I will still use this. This is really awesome. Okay, so time to make some pasta. So let me just show you real quick how this instrument works. You're gonna start at the top and just come straight down. You need a leverage here, and when you go straight down, this is what you end up with. All right, then you just separate them, and you have your noodles. Okay, see that? All right, so I'm gonna do that until this is done. I'm gonna have lots of noodles. So my vegetable broth is almost done. Once you're able to stick a fork through your carrots, if you're using potatoes, once you're able to stick your fork through your carrots and potatoes, then that is done. You could take the heat off and cover it and let it finish cooking just with its own heat. All right, so while that is finishing up, I'm going to bake a few veggies to add to my mac and cheese. I like my mac and cheese, even if I was using regular pasta, I like a little crunch, a little heartiness, a little bit of veggies in my mac and cheese. So if you don't like that, you could totally skip this part, but I'm going to cut up some mushrooms, sweet pepper, tomato, flavor pepper, and onions. I'm gonna cut them up and marinate them. You can marinate in whatever you want. I'm gonna marinate with a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, black pepper, a little bit of liquid aminos, and I'm also gonna use some homemade pepper sauce and some homemade fresh green seasoning. I'm gonna marinate them and put them in the oven just until they're a little bit tender, not too soft. All right, if you want, you can saute them on the stovetop. I just choose to bake them as opposed to saute them. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do now. Let's go. Okay, so I have drained my cashews. These are my drained cashews. You can see how big they've gotten, and they've gotten very soft as well. You're able to squeeze them, so they've soaked for long enough. All right, so I've added my cashews, and to this is my food processor. You can also use your blender. So to this, I'm going to add some nutritional yeast. This is very important. This is what makes it cheesy. Nutritional yeast. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, not too much. Some almond milk. I'm going to add some lime juice. I'm going to add some pepper sauce. I'm also gonna add some green seasoning because, like I said, I love my mom's seasoning, so that's definitely going in there. And I'm going to add the vegetable broth.
So this is my vegetable broth. The first thing you do is dip out the actual vegetables and put them in your food processor or your blender. And then you're going to pour out some of the liquid, not too much because you want your sauce to be creamy and not too watery. So you're just going to use a little bit of this vegetable broth. You can always put the rest of it in the fridge and use it for other recipes.
You're going to keep going until this gets nice and creamy. But halfway through, you're going to pause, and I'm going to add some pickles. This is my secret ingredient. I don't know, pickles just make it pop. Just, I don't know, if you don't like pickles, then okay, but pickles and a little bit of pickle juice, that just makes the sauce taste so much better. So as you guys can tell by now, I do not use measurements. I just toss stuff in there. So for me, it's important for me to stop, to pause it and taste it. So I will know if it needs a little bit more of something. Okay, I just realized I forgot to tell you that there's also mustard in there, and I put some Cajun seasoning and a little bit of olive oil. All right. Yes, my olive oil is in a wet bottle. That's okay. All right, it's getting creamier and creamier. All right, the taste is perfect. Now, I just want to get the right consistency. Yeah, I'm gonna do this again to get a better consistency. Remember, normally you put potato in here, and the potato would give it that nice creamy consistency. I'm not using potatoes, that's why I have to blend for so long to get it a little creamier.
Now keep in mind, I'm the only vegan in my house, so it's okay for me to double dip and lick and taste. If you're making for your family, please don't do like me. Use a spoon to taste. I'm using my fingers because I'm the only one eating it.
Okay, so this is just how I want it. It tastes good and it's a good consistency. Okay, so here are my veggies that I had in the oven baking. This is just good enough for me. Here is my pasta. Now, if you want, you can just bake this pasta for 15 minutes and then you can take it out the oven and just toss this over it and make a mac and cheese, right? But the way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make it like a casserole. So I'm gonna layer it, all right? So let's start with a layer of pasta.
Then you put in your veggies, the veggies that you baked. You're going to put that in because I love veggies in my mac and cheese. Then you're going to put in your creamy cashew sauce and you're going to mix it up. Mix up that layer to make sure that the sauce evenly coats your squash pasta. Then you're going to do another layer after that. So you just keep layering until you get to the top. Be sure that in each layer you coat the pasta with the creamy sauce, okay? So make sure each layer is coated evenly. When you get to the top, you're just gonna put some of your cashew sauce on the top, but you're not gonna toss that in. You're just gonna leave a layer on the top because you want that top layer to get nice and bronze.
No, obviously I'm not sharing my meal. That's why I'm licking my fingers so much, because I'm not sharing. I'm eating all of this by myself. Come, let's not lose the pasta now. All right, this goes in the oven. Excuse me, it's so good. Anyway, if you have leftover sauce, this can go in the fridge. Because it has cooked carrots in it, you should only store this for about a week. If it would, remember I did a video about the regular cashew sauce, that can last very long because there's nothing cooked in it. It's completely raw. Because this has cooked carrots, it's gonna shorten the shelf life. All right, so you can store this in the fridge for about a week. All right, and then use it again. You can use it on anything. You can bake potatoes and put some, if you want cheesy sauce on your potatoes, if you're eating potatoes, anything that you're making and you want a cheesy sauce, you can use this, but try to use it up within a week. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. So here is my leftover sauce. I'm gonna put this in the fridge, and when I want a quick meal during the week, this is gonna come in very handy. So my oven is on 450, and that's gonna stay in there for like 15 minutes. I'm gonna check it in 15 minutes. If it needs a little bit more time, probably like 5 minutes extra. After that 5 minutes, I'm gonna put it on broil because I want the top of my casserole to get kind of bronze. All right, so remember to stay hydrated.
So here is my mac and cheese casserole. It had a full cooking time of 30 minutes. It was 25 minutes on 450 degrees and then 5 minutes on high broil. And it's so good and it's so ready to eat.
So here is my casserole. All right, so remember, I chose to make this as a casserole. You can choose to just make it like a mac and cheese. So when you make your squash noodles, you can just saute it on the stove top until it gets a little soft, not too soft, not soft enough to mash up, all right, to disintegrate. You can just saute it till it gets a little tender, and then add your cashew sauce to the stove top, saute it like how you would do a typical mac and cheese, right? But I just chose to do a casserole today because I'm just kind of extra sometimes. All right, so yeah, that's it. And I already know this tastes so good because I tasted the sauce, and once your sauce is good, everything else is good. Oh my God. OMG. OMG. I don't even miss noodles anymore. These noodles, cucumber noodles, beet noodles, squash noodles, oh my God, they hit the spot. I mean, I will eat noodles again, but for now, because you know I'm a chubby vegan, right? I love food. This is so good. Can you see that? It's so good. It looks just like regular noodles and cheese. And it tastes just like regular noodles and cheese too. All right, bye.